What's up, guys? This is the Honest Outlaw here, and today we are going to be doing a review on the DPMS G2 Recon. I plan on doing this review at some point, but I kind of forgot about it. I've owned this rifle for about a year and a half and planned on getting to it, and just kept doing other things. This was actually requested by one of my subscribers, so I figured I'd get it out as fast as I can. I have about 1,000 rounds of .308 through this rifle. I shot a big part of that in a long-range rifle class that I took. That was probably mid-range rifle class, 0 to 500 yards. It did fairly well. We'll talk about some of the things it did well, and we'll talk about some of the things that it doesn't do so well. One of the things I want to discuss first is the hype behind this rifle. There's a lot of hype behind this particular .308 rifle. It changed the game. James Yeager said he wouldn't even call it an AR-10. Okay, but either way, it's got some design differences that we'll talk about when we get to ergos. That's different than most other .308 ARs. Not now, obviously, because now Aero Precision and a couple other companies have come out with similar rifles. But when this came out a year and a half ago, this was kind of revolutionary for the AR-10 market, the .308 AR-15 market. It is a 16-inch barrel. It is bead blasted. It has a 1 in 10 twist. It is kind of a heavy profile barrel too, as you can see that, which helps with heat dispersion when you're shooting long strings of fire. A lot of people think of that for just shooting rapid fire, but if you're shooting at long distance, even 10 shots in a row can throw off your point of impact at distance without a heavy enough barrel. So a heavy barrel on a gun like this is nice. It's not necessarily required, because a .308 16-inch gun, most people aren't going to use that for precision past 500 yards, right? So minute of man will work for a 16-inch .308. So do you need this? No, but it's kind of nice to show off to your friends. It comes with Magpul Furniture. I'll put up a picture of what this rifle looks like when you get it. It doesn't look like this. It comes with Magpul Furniture. It has a Mission First tactical stock on it now to reduce the weight. I also like the end of it better. I kept the regular grip. I changed the rail out. This is a Midwest Industries rail. It's a key mod rail. And I changed the brake out. This is a JP brake for a .308. It originally comes with the ACC flash suppressor for attaching an ACC silencer. We'll touch on that quad rail a little bit more later. It comes with a 2-stage trigger as well. It's not as good as the traditional Geisley trigger or Rock River triggers that I run. The reason why I bought this for a hunting platform primarily. I wanted to use it to go pig hunting. It's got a lot of secondary uses. The kind of thing about the .308 gas gun is that it does a lot of things okay, but it really doesn't do anything spectacularly. It's a big caliber AR, if you want to look at it that way. It's not a sniper rifle. The best semi-automatic rifles in the world, even the OBR and some other rifles I can't think of off the top of my head for some reason, the LaRue OBR is what I'm talking about, are still not as accurate as your traditional bolt gun. And that's completely fine for practical situations. But if you're going to buy this rifle to go out and shoot paper with it all day to impress your friends, you're not going to impress them that much with this rifle. Even though it's advertised 1 MOA, it does shoot 1 MOA occasionally. Sometimes it shoots 2 MOA, just like your normal AR-10 pattern rifles. So I bought this for hunting. You can also use this for home defense. It might have some over-penetrate issues, especially if you live in an apartment complex. This probably isn't your perfect choice, but if it was your only rifle and you had to do it, yeah, you could do it. You might kill the next 6 people in the next 6 apartments with it, but you could definitely do it, especially if you live on a ranch like I do. I have occasionally brought this out to investigate coyotes and things like that, so yeah, I'm not going to rule it out. Recreation, I would say no. It's got more recoil than a 223 AR, and it is not as accurate as a .308 bolt gun. So I don't really see a purpose for it recreationally. But you could, if you like shooting .308 and you like paying the price for it, go right ahead. You could use it for competition. You could use it for a heavy metal in a 3-gun. It's the first thing I can think of. You could probably use it for some others. You could use it for a DMR class. I brought it to a mid-range rifle class. That's where this rifle really shines. You know, an all-purpose rifle with a heavier caliber. You know, if you want to put somebody down or if you want to put an animal down, a 308 will do that. 308 will kill pretty much anything in North America. And you've got a 20-round box magazine full of it. So that's one of the big advantages of the AR-10 platform. Basically a 0 to 600 yard rifle. You can CQB with this. As I said before, it's a little bit slower than AR-15, but you can definitely do it. And you can also take this out to, like I said, I think the furthest I shot this was 600 yards. Last thing I want to talk about is WROL. Yeah, if you were specialized, you know, shit hit the fan, economic collapse, zombie apocalypse kind of shit, you could definitely use it, but it wouldn't be my first choice if I was by myself. Now, it might be my first choice if I had a vehicle to ride in, or if I had a couple of guys around me that could handle the close stuff, and I use this primarily at distance for scouting and taking targets out at distance if I had to. It would be great for that role, but as for a single rifle all by yourself, I wouldn't want to carry the amount of 308 necessary to feed this gun, and also as you're probably going to try to stay away from trouble as much as you can, I would just rather carry a smaller, lighter, more close-up weapon. First thing we talk about, besides what you're going to use it for with semi-automatic rifles, is going to be reliability. This is where this rifle does not live up to the hype, at least not in my opinion. If you check out James Yeager, he's got a great video series on this rifle where he proclaims it the greatest thing since sliced bread. Maybe he got a different rifle than me. I like that they try to do something different and use a little ingenuity, but the problem isn't the idea. The problem, I feel like, is the company that makes it. DPMS has a rough track record with their 223s. I think the same kind of folds over here. I think if you buy this rifle, you take a risk. You take a risk at either getting a really good rifle with a really good design, or you take a risk of getting a classic DPMS fuck-up. When I originally got my rifle, I was super excited about it. We'll talk about how much this costs in a minute. But I was super excited about it, paid a lot of money for it, and I got a rifle that simply did not work right out of the box. The bolt had to be resized for the rifle to even function. I don't mean function correctly, I mean function at all. As soon as that was done, then I had some gassing issues and we had to change the gas block. So I bought a very expensive rifle, and when it got to me, it did not run. Now since then, it has run, since it's been fixed, it did run. It does run, but it is the most reliable gun in the world. It is not. I would say that it's about 95% reliable. We did have some malfunctions in this rifle. As I said, I shot quite a few rounds through it, but we also saw quite a few malfunctions even after it was getting fixed. The first thing I want to talk about is that it hates Magpul magazines. This is the first Magpul magazine I used, and I initially wrote on it bad because I assumed that it was a magazine issue. However, I tried all of my other 308 Magpul magazines, and none of them worked in this rifle at all. I would get about 1 out of every 2 to work reliably, so I ditched those, bought these. With these steel mags, it runs pretty good. As I said, about 95% if you use the correct ammo and if you use the correct magazines and you're under the right circumstances. I clean this rifle about every 300 rounds that I shot because you have to. So when they tell you that this will run as reliably as any AR-15, they're lying to you. At least my version. Now you have to understand these are my data points. This is the conclusions that I've come from this rifle in particular. I don't have any other friends that own this rifle, so all my conclusions come from this gun right here. And I can say that this rifle is not as reliable as any of my AR-15s. As far as track record go, we kind of went over that. DPMS has a shoddy track record at best. So does Remington. Remington bought them out. They own DPMS, and the Freedom Group owns Remington. That's very important. I used to really like Remington stuff. I still have an old 870 that runs like a fucking Swiss watch. But since the Freedom Group brought them, I really felt like the qualities of the materials and the quality of their products overall has gone down. Gone down noticeably. So be careful what you buy from Remington, especially if it's come around in the last 5 years to 10 years or so. As far as price goes, the MSRP on this rifle is $17.59. You are not going to pay that much if you buy it today. New, the lowest price I saw on Gunbroker for this rifle is around $1,300. Now, if you consider all the stuff that you have to buy for a 308 platform, including the price of the ammo, you're looking at, on this rifle itself, you're looking at about 50 to 100 bucks for the brake. I can't remember, but that's about what average brakes go. This rail, I looked it up, it was $185 for the 13, $200 for the 15. The rail I would really suggest if you're going to buy this rifle, because that quad rail adds a lot of weight. This key mod rail is not only longer and more comfortable, but it's also about half the weight, which takes off the weight in a really important part of the rifle. Weight on the rifle in the rear, like a stock and stuff like that, sometimes is necessary because you're trying to balance out the weight in the front. So keep the weight off the front if you can. I know you got to run lights and lasers and vertical grips and night vision and all that stuff, but like I said, if you want a quick, handy rifle, keep the weight off. Back to price though, like I said, you're looking at $185. You're looking at about $150 to $100. You're looking at $500 to $1,000 for a scope. And after that, I looked it up, you're going to have to spend about $450 on a 500 round case ammo for this. And if you're looking at precision ammo to shoot long range, like gold medal match, that's what I recommend for 308. I think that's around 26, 30 bucks a box, somewhere in there. Freedom Munitions is relatively cheap. This is what I didn't use this for precision work, but I did use it for just plinking and shooting up close. This is remanufactured ammunition. It worked really well in all my rifles. It works pretty good in this rifle as well. Getting a size and weight, this is where this rifle does shine a little bit. It is 38 inches in total length. They somehow managed to resize the lower receiver a little bit to make it a little bit smaller and a little bit shorter than your traditional 308. So it's 38 inches overall length, and the weight, once you customize it, is pretty good. It's 8.5 pounds from the factory. But if you take off that quad rail, you take off the Magpul stock there, and you change it out with some lighter weight components, you're going to get about 7.9 pounds. Because that quad rail, like I said, is heavy. Quad rail is kind of a dead technology too, so if you have the money to buy this, I hope you have the money to switch out the rail, because trust me, you'll turn it into a totally different rifle. I can't stress that enough. So 7.9 pounds for a 308 is pretty good, especially for this heavy of a barrel. There are a couple other 308 rifles that come in that category. You're looking at the SCAR 17, and you're looking at the M&P 10. I haven't owned the SCAR 17, but I have owned the M&P 10, and I honestly liked it more than I like this rifle. As far as ergos go, it has a little bit more recoil than I just talked about the M&P 10 and the SCAR. And I think the reason for that is because it has a proprietary buffer system in it, and it is a carbine buffer, so it really rattles at you when it shoots. It's not bad. 308's not the hardest hitting round in the world, but as far as like a 308 gas gun, it does recoil significantly more than I anticipated. That is one of the reasons why I changed out the AAC flash hider to the JP brake. Getting into some of the things they switched from the Gen 1, I believe, now don't quote me on this, I'm not a gunsmith, but I believe it has a longer injection port. It has a longer injection port than most 308s. That helps with the ejection, obviously. It has a removable steel feed ramp in there. It has twin ejectors on the bolt. That's one of the weak points of the AR-10. They beefed that up. I think that was a great idea. It has a proprietary extractor. It's made out of considerably stronger material. Remington says that it is the strongest extractor ever made. I'm not sure about that. I didn't test that, but that's what they say, so I'm passing that on to you. It has a polymer extractor spring as well, and that's another big weak point of AR-15s and AR-10s. Supposedly it keeps tensile strength, so it helps with reliability. It also has an enhanced bolt carrier group. It has a one-piece gas key on it as well to avoid the gas key from breaking off. One of the really nice things about this rifle is they scaled down the lower from the magazine to the back, so it will accept traditional AR-15 triggers. During some of the shooting, the precision shooting, I ran a Rock River varmint trigger in it, because that is a significantly better trigger than what comes in this, and it did help with the accuracy shooting. It also will accept AR-15 stocks and grips, but it will not accept AR-15 rails. You have to buy the rails designed for the DPMS G2. It also has a proprietary buffer system, so don't switch out the buffer if you can help it. You will affect the reliability of the rifle. As for takedown, it is the same takedown as your traditional AR-15. You just pop these two pins out, the upper receiver comes off, bolt carrier and charging handle come out, clean those bitches up, put them back in there, clean inside your star chamber, clean your barrel, yada yada yada. Accuracy, hopefully I can show you some pictures of some of the targets that we shot. We shot around 1 to 2 MOA depending on who's shooting and what ammo we were shooting. None of us shot over 2 MOA and none of us really shot under 1 MOA, so I think it was a pretty good average. And that's really what, that accuracy is definitely good enough for me as far as this type of rifle goes. We swapped the trigger out for accuracy testing. We ran it with this Leopold 3x9 scope the majority of the time. Wrapping this up, some of the problems that we had again were reliability. We had some reliability issues even after it was fixed. The biggest problem I had was that it came to me broken. That was a big pain in the ass, so watch out for that. Quad rail was a big issue. It was big, fat, and heavy, and it serves almost no purpose. Ditched that thing, got rid of it right away. The last problem I can think of after we worked out all those would be the Recoil and Pulse. It is a little bit more than your traditional AR-10. Again, probably because of the buffer and the fact that it is light and compact, but nothing you can't handle. Overall, I would probably give this a 7.5, maybe an 8 out of 10. Like I said, reliability is an issue, but I haven't shot an AR-10 where reliability wasn't a minor issue. I would buy it again, to be honest. I would definitely buy it again because hopefully I wouldn't get this rifle and I might actually get a good one. This is the Honest Outlaw here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you have any experience with this rifle yourself and it's been different from the experience that I have, leave it below. I'm interested to hear about it. Please like and subscribe if you like the video. Thanks for watching. I got
my terrible 308.
Yeah. All right, so this was the sight-in group for the G2 Recon. And after that, we put a 5-round group here. As you can see, that's about 2 MOA, which isn't bad, but it's definitely not the 1 MOA advertised. And then we got a 1 MOA group here. Now, a lot of the misconceptions about this rifle is that if you can shoot one group with 1 MOA, it makes it a 1 MOA rifle. Well, that is false, because I have my $300 223 Savage over here, and that is a 1 MOA rifle. You can see consistent 1 MOA groups right there. All day.